Okay, so Glacier nowadays is a tier inside S3. Actually, originally Glacier is another product, but many customers think this is kind of a tier in S3. That's why AWS move it into S3 family. So what is Glacier? Glacier is for long-term archive storage, very, very low cost. As I mentioned, in Virginia, $1 you can store 1 TB per month. Okay, you cannot even buy hard disk there. However, there are some requirements related to Glacier. Okay, if you're using Deep Archive, you must store 180 days, and you also will not have immediate access for those data. Okay, so that's very ideal for long-term archive. Just think about it is similar to your tape, okay, in your on-prem data center. Okay, so many company back up those data into tape drive, something like that. So let's take a look on Glacier. What we should do is in Glacier, we create the vault, all right? And then optionally, you can create the vault log. Normally, this is for compliance. We can set, let's say, the data keep for 3 years, all right? And if you enable this vault log, it means that it is immutable. Even if you are the owner, all right, you cannot unlock these settings. The data must keep for 3 years. Okay, after you enable the vault log, all right. So it is for many countries, they have the compliance requirement, the law, the requirement like this. Okay, so it is immutable, unchangeable. But when you enable the lock, you got 24 hours in order to actually lock the data, lock the policy. All right, so this is Glacier. Archive. Okay, so if you want to retrieve those data, yeah, you need to wait. Originally, we need to wait for 3 to 5 hours. All right, but yeah, since AWS keep improving, now we have choice. Okay, when you restore the data, suppose I really need to get back those data much faster, quicker. Okay, what can we do? Okay, originally there is standard retrieval. Okay, 3 to 5 hours. So if you want to retrieve those data in minutes, okay, you can use explicit retrieval, but the cost is much higher. All right. In other words, you can pay for retrieval time. So in this case, you can get back your data in minutes. Okay, but you still don't have immediate access. All right. Bulk retrieval up to 12 hours, but this is the cheapest. Once again, let's take a look on the pricing. Also listed in the pricing. So data transfer, you can take a look here. And then this is what we call retrieval. If you go to down there here, Glacier, okay, retrieval. For standard, you pay for this amount, 0.05. And then for explicit, you see, it's $10. It's much more expensive than standard. And bulk, you don't need to pay for that. All right, so take a look on the pricing. You can pay for the retrieval time, okay, nowadays. But a few years before, you don't have choice. You need to wait for hours. Now, S3, we got many tiers, okay? So by default is standard, but you can move to IA infrequent access. The storage cost will be much lower. However, the retrieve pricing will be higher. One zone, there is only one single copy in one single availability zone. So the key point is, if we, in the architecting point of view, if we use this tier, make sure that we can easily reproduce those data. Okay, because we got only one copy. If this copy goes down loose, you lose your data. Okay, the price is cheaper than the standard IA. You got immediate access. However, you got one single copy. Among all the tier, only this one have only single one copy. Okay, so Glacier, as we mentioned before, much cheaper, and deep archive, very cheap. However, you need to store 180 day. Okay, so this is the consideration. And then, as I mentioned, we can use life cycle policy. We don't want to move the object manually myself, because you may have million or even billions of objects. So what we can do is we set the policy as I showed you before. Maybe for the first month, you frequent upload, download, then we keep it in standard. After a month, we move it to infrequent access, and then after 2 months, we keep in Glacier for 1 more year, and then uh, automatically delete it after that. We can also remove those previous version in complete path, all right, by using the life cycle policy. So these are some features from S3. Actually, not all. If I show you a little bit more, go back to the bucket, and we got some other features like we can replicate our data into to another region. All right, from Virginia to London. All right, it is possible to do that, but by doing so, uh, your cost is higher because you got two copy and you also have data transfer. All right, so think about the cost. So go back to the architecting point of view, reliability. You replicate the data to another region, you have high reliability. However, the cost is higher. Okay, so that's the consideration. Do we need to do that? So next, how can we choose the region? Okay, so 4 points. Okay, to choose the region. This is from well architecting point of view. The first point is always law, governance. Okay, so some country, if you are a registered company, your data must stay inside the country. Okay, one example is German. All right, that's why AWS built a Frankfurt region, because in certain industry in their country, the data must stay in country. So in this case, you cannot replicate your data to another country, another region. Otherwise, you break the law. Okay, so the law is always the first consideration. And the second consideration is, do we have that service available? All right. I will say not every region got all the service. In order to take a look, you can go to this area, AWS region table. You can search like this. Okay, AWS region table. So if you take a look on the first link, these are all the 26 region. Okay, we also the China region is not here, but the government cloud is here. So uh, here you can see, let's say Virginia. All right, there are many service. Let me just use those that we discussed before. We have discussed slow ball, slow mobile, okay, and then slow cone. Slow cone is a smaller device. So we got all. However, if you go to some region in Asia Pacific, let's say Hong Kong, all right, and if you search snow again, only slow ball. All right, so I'm saying that not every single region we got all the surface. Okay, so we need to take a look on the region table. Uh, if we want to use that service in those region, they are not available, then we cannot use it, right? So the first, second consideration. The third is latency. Okay, latency, and then fourth is cost. And the upcoming slide, we are going to just repeat uh, all this. These four consideration: latency and cost. As I showed you before, let's take a look on cost first. Storing data in Virginia is cheaper than storing data in Tokyo. Okay, so if you, in your architecting point of view, here we are talking about well architect, right? If you want the cost lowest, all right, you should store in Virginia. However, if you have some customer consume your data from Europe, from Tokyo, their latency is higher, right? So how can we measure the latency? There are many methods. Some of them is very dynamic, but I like this one. If you have internet access, you can try it together with me. You can use cloudping.info. By going to this website, cloudping.info, and then you press this button, and then it will immediately, okay, detect your computer going to different AWS region. All right, so let's say now in my area, I go to Virginia, 200 millisecond, and then some other, all right, the latency is lower. So go back to here, and then you can see, sorry, here. Sometimes point 0.3 and point 0.4, you need to choose. Okay, you have lower latency to your Europe customer, but you may have higher costs. Okay, so this is how we should choose the region. Okay, so this feels like it's just what I mentioned. First of all, take a look on the compliance, the law first. Do we allow the data stay outside of the country? This is one requirement that we should consider when we are doing the architect. And then, is the service available? All right. If not, then we may need to use some other region. And then proximity, it means the latency. All right, measure the latency. Sometimes you may need to try a few times, maybe at night and in the morning, the latency would be different. And then finally, the cost. All right, the cost is different for every region. Okay, do we need to minimize the cost, or uh, is the performance more important to your case? All right, so this is related to how we should choose the region. Okay, and then I think I already did this demo, how we are going to create a static website in S3. Let me just show you once again there. So if I go to the create a bucket, and then you upload the static data, the HTML, the picture, the CSS file, the video file. This is your, of course, you better upload the error page as well. And then if you go to the property and then go to the bottom, okay, static website. By default, it's not on, but here I already turned it on. So if you go inside and host a static website, and which one is the home page? So it's very easy. Okay, just write your HTML file, upload all the static data, and then all the file here. That's it. All right, enable these features. So that's the static website. And if there is no request, you don't need to pay a single cent. Uh, and the price for S3 is definitely much cheaper than EC2. All right, so that's how we host the static website.
If you are interested in taking up group training, private group training for teams is also available. And the learning plans for these trainings can be customized for any AWS product or solution area to meet the training requirements that help you learn AWS from world-class certified trainers and instructors. A lack of skilled talent is one of the most common obstacles to the adoption of cloud services. And regardless of your business drivers for using AWS, skills gaps can potentially derail those outcomes. So how do you identify and address these skill gaps quickly? Well, there is a solution, a complementary learning needs analysis from NetCom Learning and AWS Training and Certification. Our LNA is a free self-assessment survey that identifies AWS skills gaps and recommends organizational and individual training plans to address these gaps. The result is faster AWS skills acquisition and optimization of training investments. The AWS LNA also offers you access cloud skills and for a wide variety of roles across your organization, from developers and data scientists to managers and executives. If you're looking for unlimited training benefits with an enjoyable learning experience, then we have NetCom Learning Plus subscriptions for you. And to get unlimited access to over 500 authorized training solutions from top-notch vendors such as Microsoft, AWS, CompTIA, and more for 1 full year. And if you have a budget to allocate training for your team, then the Learning Passport is the right option for you. Experience the ultimate option in value and flexibility with our prepaid training package. You can manage your team's annual training needs and redeem from a range of over 4,000 courses from top-notch technology providers. We also have learning consultants who are available 24/7 to assist you with your questions or concerns. You can just email us at aws@netcomlearning.com.